So I've been saying the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro are the best Galaxy Buds I've ever tried, but how much better are they than the 3 Pro, and do the 3 Pro do anything that the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro don't? And all of this is really to answer the questions of, should you upgrade if you have the 3 Pro, or if you're buying a new pair between the two of these, should you get the 4 Pro or save the money on the 3 Pro? So in this video, I'll be talking about everything you need to know, all of the differences I found after using these both in the studio for a little while. But I think we need to start off with the design. Looking at these, quite a big difference in the design of the case, although they both have the clear top, and I do appreciate that. I think it's kind of cool, but Samsung definitely went back to their more traditional Galaxy Buds square case, which I personally really like. Even though holding them side by side, you'll see it is a bit thicker, although a bit shorter and a bit thinner in 2 dimensions. So overall, pocketability is going to be fairly similar with both of these. They both have USB Type-C charging as well as wireless charging. The hinges and all the materials feel very similar. Durability should not be really that different between these two cases. It's probably more so going to be an aesthetic thing, although setting them down, I think it's a little bit easier to get your earbuds correctly in the case in the Buds 4 Pro, and the Buds 4 Pro don't have that, they always tilt back and fall when you set them up. So that's the cases. Now, before we get into the earbuds themselves, we have 2 colors on the Buds 3 Pro. We've got this silver Cybertruck kind of aesthetic here, or you have white, so more subtle one, or a very tech-focused one. Kind of cool that we have those 2 options. And the Buds 4 Pro then come in 3 colors. So you've got this kind of black and silver aesthetic here. There's a white version, and there's actually a pink gold as well. That's an online exclusive one, and I'll actually have links in the description down below if you want to pre-order these, or depending on when you're watching this video, I'll have any kind of special bonuses from Samsung. Sometimes they have exclusive ones through that link, so I'll include that down below so you can check that out. Now, looking at the actual earbuds, if we take them out of the case, these are very, very different. They both have the blade or stem, if you want to call it that, but the earbuds kind of stop being similar at that point right there. You see a much more kind of bubbly, rounded design on the Buds 4 Pro versus a much more geometric, triangular design on the Buds 3 Pro. That's going to be more of an aesthetic preference. You can leave a comment and let me know which one you think looks better. I think they both look pretty good in very different ways. You've got the metallic accent on the Buds 4 Pro, which does kind of make them look a bit more premium in my opinion, although the Buds 3 Pro have the blade light on them. The light no longer exists on the 4 Pro, which has some downsides. The light, honestly, I didn't love the light. If you're wearing them, I don't need a light on the side of my earbuds, so I usually kept that off. But it's kind of nice when you open up the case, the light turns on the earbuds, kind of a cool way to let you know that they are awake. And then if you lose the earbuds, if you drop them, you can make the light flash in the app, and it's a good way to find them, and you can't really do that on the Buds 4 Pro. The battery life on these is the same on both of them, 6 hours in the earbuds, 26 hours when you include the case. That's with active noise cancellation on. They also both have the same water resistance rating of IP57, which is significantly better than pretty much any other earbuds on the market, making these pretty ideal for running or, just doing anything outdoors if you're worried about dropping them in a puddle. These are much more durable than most other earbuds out there. Now, the controls on these are quite different. Even though they are both pinch and swipe controls, the differences are more so in how it feels when you're actually using them. So the Buds 3 Pro, if you look at the kind of geometric triangular design, there are so many different sides that you could pinch and slide on. Only one side is actually the correct one for controlling them. So while you get used to it, and I have no problem controlling them now, many people would put these in and not find the controls right away. It was kind of an awkward setup, whereas now there's only, it's basically a rectangle. So as long as you're not pinching this way, if you're pinching on those other 2 sides, there is a locating feature, so kind of a dimple where your finger goes, making it very intuitive to pinch there, slide up and down, and get your volume controls like that. Also, you'll notice that looking at the earbuds, if we look at the very bottom, we no longer have the color coordination for left versus right. I don't think that's really necessary with this open design on the case. I think that dropping them in, I'm never going to mix up left and right. And I kind of appreciate that there is no color because I think that kind of just looks weird on the bottom of the earbuds. As far as fit and comfort go, I can't say that I personally have a significant difference in the fit with these. I can wear both of them. They're both very comfortable. They both stay in very securely. Everybody has weird ears, of course. So Samsung says that the new earbuds should fit more ears more comfortably. But you can, again, leave a comment. Anyone in the future who's tried these earbuds, let me know how they fit you. For me, I feel no significant difference in the fit. What is different for me is the sound quality. So starting off with the specs, and then I'll talk about my experience. So now we have a 20% larger woofer and a slightly larger tweeter as well on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro compared to the 3 Pro. So they both have dual drivers, which means you should get a pretty good dynamic range on them. The bigger woofer and slightly larger tweeter should give you more powerful and more controlled bass and slightly better highs as well. And they both have a lot of the same stuff in the app, from 24-bit 96 kilohertz resolution using Samsung's codec on here, to the ability to adapt to your ears and different things like that. But talking about my actual experience, I think there is definitely a noticeable difference. The Buds 4 Pro sound fuller, they sound cleaner, they sound more natural. There's a noticeable improvement in the bass quality and the bass power. If you go into the EQ, you could turn that up and really rattle your head if you wanted to, but you know, the bass is very capable. The Buds 3 Pro were a bit more harsh in my opinion with the high end. They also sounded thinner, I think, and they had less control on the low end. So the Buds 4 Pro, overall, better instrument separation, better sound to them. I think that they're definitely more capable earbuds in sound. Neither one of them is the same as wired headphones, which is to be expected, but for Bluetooth earbuds, I'm pretty impressed. They do sound quite good. I think that they are a bit harsh and they have a strange peak, probably around like 5,000 or 6,000 kilohertz. So if you go on the EQ, you can adjust that and you can tinker with these and get them sounding really quite good. So let's talk about active noise cancellation. Both of these, you could turn it off, you could have ambient sound mode, you could have adaptive mode, and you could have ANC. Adaptive mode is going to be a little bit different on both of these. So you have adaptive ANC 1.0 on the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro, which is, from my understanding, a little bit more algorithmic. Like, there's set bins that it listens to and identifies, all right, you sound like you're in this bin or this bin, and it's going to change the ANC or change the pass-through mode based on what environment it thinks that you're in. Now, adaptive ANC 2.0 is what you're getting on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, which is based a little bit more on machine learning and should be a little bit more of a smooth spectrum, able to identify more environments and ideally give you a better experience when using that adaptive mode. Now, I don't personally use adaptive mode all that often. I usually just keep it on maximum ANC. I know it's going to kill my battery faster, but the ANC levels on this are definitely better, although not a massive, massive improvement. So I'm looking at about a 1 to 2 decibel improvement on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro versus the 3 Pro when blocking out those like lower frequency sounds like a bus, a jet, traffic, stuff like that. It's doing a better job, but like I said, 1 or 2 decibels is meaningful, but not extremely noticeable if you're not looking for it. As far as higher voices go, chatter, people talking, the difference is even more subtle there. So definitely still improved, but not a massive, massive difference. As far as the transparency goes, again, the older ones, the Buds 3 Pro, had some hissing there. That is somewhat reduced in the Buds 4 Pro in my experience. Although it does still exist, it is minimized, and they both do sound very, very natural. They do a good job with kind of like spatial awareness, like I can hear where things are in the room. And I think as far as aware mode, as Samsung calls it, these do an excellent job with their aware mode. All right, so let's get into a microphone test, starting off with the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro. So let me know how this sounds. Obviously, we're inside, so it should be as easy as possible for these. But unlike many other earbuds out there, I find that Samsung does a pretty good job of keeping this pretty natural, not overly compressing my voice, because it doesn't need to. This environment is already very quiet. Now, these do have a really good bandwidth, or a really good codec essentially, to get higher resolution audio out of your microphone. So let me know how this actually sounds, and then I'll switch over to the Buds 3 Pro. And now these are the previous generation Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. Do these sound any different to you? Again, inside, I'm recording both of these on the Galaxy S25 Ultra. These should sound better on Samsung devices because of that codec and the higher resolution, but they should sound still pretty decent on a lot of other phones out there. So we'll go outside now and see how they perform in a louder environment. I'll probably just go straight to a phone call just to show you guys what that actually sounds like.
All right, so this is an outdoor test with the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro. Let me know how this sounds. I'm just on a video call right now using my S25 Ultra. It's also worth noting that these have Bluetooth 6.1, and they also have 16 kilohertz transmission versus 8 kilohertz on the other ones. So the Buds 3 Pro are Bluetooth 5.4 and only 8 kilohertz. So you might notice a difference on like a video recording, but probably not so much on a phone call like this. And now these are the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro. Vehicle going behind me. Let me know how these compare and if you can hear what I'm saying.
So as far as features go on these earbuds, let's just look at the apps side by side. Most of the features are accessed in the app. So they both have, as you can see, the full ANC suite right there. You have the ability to auto switch during calls. I actually like that on using ambient mode. Voice detect, siren detect, they both have that. They also both have, well, let's go down. You can see earbud controls. They both have pretty much the same ones there, except the light control is also available on the Buds 3 Pro, as you would expect. Sorry, I tapped that a little bit fast, so it could like fade or be steady or whatever you want. Otherwise, the live translate. A lot of people wondering, do you have that on the older model? Is that new, it's only with the Buds 4 Pro? No, you can get that right here. So if you go into the pinch and hold controls, you can choose noise canceling, you can go to your digital assistant, or you can open specific apps like Interpreter. I don't know why it shows a different icon for Interpreter on both of them, but I'll try right now. Let me go back. Let me take what was I using for that one? That's the right earbud, pinch and hold for the right. So I'll take the right earbud on both of them. Actually, let's do it on the 3 first. So I'll put this in, pinch and hold. It opens up Interpreter, just as we expected. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there's your answer. It does work on the 3 Pro as well as on the 4 Pro. Now, if we go back, the other things we have as far as features go, sound quality and effects, that's showing up only on the 3 Pro, not on the 4 Pro there, because it's weirdly listed below it on the 4 Pro. But once you open that up, you'll see pretty much all the same. Boost dialogue is something that is only shown on the 4 Pro, not on the 3 Pro. But otherwise, earbud fit test, advanced quality. Super wideband speech is new on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro. You can see right here, I can turn that on. So 16 kilohertz instead of 8 kilohertz. That may be one of the reasons that the audio quality, if you noticed it, could have been better in the microphone test. Now, of course, that's going to depend on how you're using the microphones. If you're on a phone call and it's just really being compressed a lot, you're not going to notice that. But if you're recording a video, that could make quite a big difference. So let's go back and go back again to the other features. So as you can see, voice controls on both of them. We have that here, so not many differences there. The connections, these both have the seamless switching among Samsung devices. Neither one of them has a true multi-point connectivity, which I do kind of miss seeing that. They both have Find My Earbuds, but it's really just making the earbuds chirp, or it's going to make the lights blink on the Buds 3 Pro. Neither one has the ultra-wideband precision finding that some other earbuds have. So I think that was kind of my one of my 2 drawbacks I had on the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro in my original review. Lastly, you'll see we've got the software update tips and everything else on the bottom. So features, I think that's a really big positive that instead of gatekeeping a lot of the new features to the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, they're pushing everything back to the 3 Pro. And so features, these two are pretty much matched, feature for feature across the board here. So I think that's a really big positive, honestly. I like seeing when companies do that. So the Galaxy Buds 3 Pro and the 4 Pro, which ones should you actually buy? Should you upgrade? Well, I know the price of the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro is going to be $249 at launch. I don't know what kind of sales are going to be offered for the Buds 3 Pro because I'm filming this video about 2 days before launch. So, I mean, I'll have the links down below. You can check. And if there is a big price difference, yeah, the Buds 3 Pro would be an excellent buy here because they are getting all of those features. They have a lot of great aspects. The blade lights are cool. The aesthetic might be preferred by some people. Some people prefer the newer aesthetic. But really, I still think that Buds 4 Pro are going to be better if money's no object because they sound better. The ANC is slightly better. The microphones are slightly better. And across the board, I think there are enough upgrades that it doesn't really make sense to buy the older ones unless there is a big difference in price. So if you see the older ones for like well under $200, if they're like $180, yeah, they would be an excellent purchase. Even if they were, $200, I would still say they're a pretty good buy considering the differences are not astronomical. So thanks for watching this video. Next, I recommend you watch this video right here, my review of the Galaxy Buds 4 Pro, where I dive a little bit deeper into the capabilities and the sound quality of those earbuds. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that video.